Now, if you've been following Nigel Farage's time in I'm a Celebrity, every twist and turn, as I have, and having come third in his bid to be king of the jungle, he spoke on his show last night from Down Under, and here's what he said about how his time spent on the show went.
The sounds of the jungle. The crickets, the kookaburra, the cuckoos, the owls, the howls of creatures we've never heard from. I mean, to be honest, I spent 23 nights in there and I loved every single minute of it. It's been the most unbelievable experience, and I would not for one moment say that I regret a single moment of it. Great to be out, but I really had a fantastic time.
Well, joining now is Ben Leo, GB News reporter, who, of course, was dispatched down under in those early days with your corks on your hat. Splendid stuff. I want to talk about the early days of the snobbery. Let's face it, Anton Dex, and always driving, is veering to the right. The Kevins, the Lindas, belittling GB News viewers. None of it seemed to stick, though. Nigel just seems to take it all in his stride.
Yeah, I am probably of the minority who wasn't totally offended by Anton Dex gags. I'd put a tweet out saying, look, it's just light-hearted, in my opinion. You know, you've got to be able to take a joke. But the key thing was the arguments in the camp with Nigel about Brexit, about immigration. At one point, Danielle Harold called his policies and his work inhumane. And like you said, what he achieved in that jungle wasn't just a third-place popularity contest. He's shown the nation and his critics and those who didn't know who he was or what he was about before he went in there, that you can discuss these, what people would think are taboo subjects about immigration, Brexit, whatever else, multiculturalism, with class, with dignity, without getting into a row and without appearing like some sort of wild far-right character like the MSM paint Nigel out to be. And politics is all about timing, and Nigel's walked out to an absolute disaster in the Conservative Party 4 years ago. Today, it was an 80-seat majority, and they're all calling for Nigel to be the comeback king, to go and save the day. And I believe you've got some new polling out saying that people want that. Some bombshell polling out today. So first of all, Nigel's popularity off the back of the jungle. This is a YouGov poll. His favourability rating has gone up 2 points. Somewhat favourable, 1 point, and his very unfavourable rating has dropped by 4 points. So a massive hike in his popularity ratings there. And on the political front, Reform UK, where, of course, Nigel is honorary president, Richard Tice is the leader. A poll from Redfield and Wilton Strategies has Reform up 1% to 11%, and just 2 percentage points behind the Lib Dems. So not only is Nigel winning his own popularity vote, but it seems that he's also having effect on his links to Reform as well. Do you think ITV will be happy about that? Because I think the establishment, not just ITV, they wanted him to go on there to be this bogeyman, to be this kind of far-right miscreant they could just annihilate, hopefully forever. And obviously that hasn't happened. It pinged off the armour, Ben. Yeah, well, look, I was there for 2 and a bit weeks. I had to rush home because I was getting married. So I came home early, unfortunately, because I was absolutely loving it out there. But I was there watching the show day in, day out. I was speaking to people working on the show. And from what I gathered and assessed was that they did try and throw loads of hurdles and challenges at Nigel in terms of getting him to trip up over Brexit, immigration, having rows and getting amongst it with people like Fred, who's a staunch Remainer. It didn't work, and that's when we started seeing the drop-off in airtime, because from my perspective, I thought they were trying to stitch him up. Many other people agree with me as well. Even Nigel's alluded to it in his programme last night. But the flip side of the argument is that, in actual fact, the ITV producers realised that he wasn't this massive pantomime villain that people had made him out to be. And frankly, he was just a normal bloke, so he wasn't really providing the entertainment factor. That's on the flip side. And don't you think it was interesting how the main opponents, the main bogeymen against Nigel, Fred and Nelly, they were the first out. And I wonder if, Ben, the Farage army mobilised and took him down. I think they did. I mean, you've seen it in multiple times in the past with Nigel. You had the 2015 European elections when UKIP stormed to victory. You had the Brexit Party. You had the latest European elections. So people like to say, especially on the likes of Twitter and all these, sort of far-left breeding grounds, people like to say Nigel's irrelevant. He's tried to get into parliaments this many times. I mean, Ed Balls did it on Good Morning Britain yesterday. ITV, another example of ITV snobbery, making a snide joke about the fact he hadn't made it to parliament. What these people don't realise is they can call Nigel irrelevant and unpopular. But time after time, he keeps proving them wrong. He's not. He's not unpopular. He's winning elections. He's won 2 national elections without even being in Parliament. He's had the biggest contribution to the seismic change in politics that anyone's had, arguably, in this country over the last 100 years. And he's gone into a TV reality show where he's taken £1.5 million of ITV's money and shown that he's more popular than ever before. It's an outright win on all fronts.
I think you're right. And also, you said, unfortunately, I had to come back for my wedding. I hope your wife wasn't watching.
Yes.
Ben Leo, superb stuff as ever. Thank you very much.